Hello and welcome to another edition of Victor Alonge on Real Estate. My name is Victor Alonge, your regular anchor, and this week we are back with another exciting edition. But don't forget, this program is actually meant to bring real estate to the front burner, to bring real estate to the attention of those major stakeholders that have capacity to actually influence what happens in real estate. The industry is a key industry to the economy, perhaps second only to agriculture, maybe, or potentially. This week, we will be looking at the concerns that we have, that the industry actually has, in terms of property investment. Property investment is the product of the process in the industry. When property is developed and it's actually transacted on, investors come in, and the investors actually acquire the properties with a view to long-term income yielding, investment. So what are some of the concerns that the property investment sector in Nigeria has? And on this edition, I will be looking at that after this short message. Please don't go away. Welcome back. It's still Victor Alonge on Real Estate. I said this week we'll be looking at the concerns, critical concerns that the property sector in Nigeria faces. The first one I will be looking at, or I want us to look at, is actually the rising prices of houses. Some of them perhaps overpriced. But the point is, I've had a lot of stakeholders or maybe government functionaries blame a particular profession for the, rising prices of houses. But the truth of the matter actually is the market determines the prices of property. And elementary knowledge of economics tells us that prices are determined by the interplay of demand and supply. So if the demand is higher than the supply, of course, prices go up. If supply is more than demand, of course, the prices come down. So one of the concerns here is actually the rising prices of houses. It's a major concern for the investment sector because as property prices rise, is the increase in rent able to keep up with the rising prices of houses? Perhaps not. So that's a major challenge, because if it is not addressed, it may lead to reduced interest in property investment. The other one is the capital market threat. We all know that COVID-19 wrought a lot of damages to the economy as a whole, not just Nigeria economy, but global economy. And in Nigeria, despite the fact that our stock market actually tried, but we have seen the hugely reduced activities and then even reduction in the capitalization of the stock market. So it's a major challenge, because the reduction in the activities on the capital market will mean less, patronage or sources of funding for property investment. The other one is actually ESG, and ESG, we're talking of the environmental, social, and governance. This is actually a set of standards that is used to evaluate the environmental and climate effects of housing units. In any case, the quality of living, the quality of those facilities, looking at the pollution rate, the prevalence of waste in our public areas, our poor waste disposal habits, these are all still prevalent, even in our so-called exclusive locations. But as professionals, we should be concerned with greenhouse gas emission. These are the qualities, these are the standards by which the ESG is actually measured. And the country's, Nigeria's ESG indexes, actually were reported to have increased by about 40%, I think, in 2020. So the ESG is a major challenge, and I think habits can actually help in improving this. The other major challenge, which I think everybody will agree with me this time around, is naira depreciation. The impact on equipment acquisition and construction materials, the impacts are just unbelievable. And the more this is allowed, to remain, the more it takes property out of the reach of majority, and the more widening will be the gap. That's the housing deficit gap. We also have this huge rural-urban migration, and this has actually been fueled even more by the various insecurity challenges facing different parts of the country. And the impact of, this massive, rural urban drifts on property regulation cannot be overemphasized. And with overpopulation resulting from such activity, it will be inevitable that home rents will actually be high. And you may be having, especially in densely populated, neighborhood, having rents increasing and so on and so forth. So, the insecurity in the country is actually posing huge threats to property investment activities. The other one is the ineffective property protection laws, and I think this is very, very, very important. And because of the relative weakness of our property protection laws, a lot of those who we actually identified as scammers, have established thriving businesses, so scamming people. And perhaps one of the reasons why, we had this adventure into the Redan bill that was struck down by the House of Rep. But definitely, poor property protection law is actually encouraging, people to be scammed and duped. Of course, we have this poor building quality, and how else to actually, identify that than the incidences of building collapse around us. And, the reasons for that, come in various shapes and in various ways, depending on the nature of the collapse and so on. But some things are common to them. The first is corner cutting, by the developers, and poor regulation enforcement, where regulators just keep their eyes away from what is going on site and so on. And we all pay the price for it. So poor building quality, fueled by greed, and corruption. They also pose major challenge to property investment. So if all these are not really addressed properly, the cumulative effect is that no matter how optimistic we are about the property industry, if the investment, sector of it is negatively affected, then it will actually come down to affect other aspects. So we do need to look at all this and see how, not just from government point of view, because some of the things I've actually mentioned, the professional bodies, professionals in the industry can actually help to address them or to put things together, put strategies together and engage government. This is where we draw the curtain on this week's edition of Victor Alonge on Real Estate. I hope you've had a great time with us this week. Don't forget to check us out on our social media platforms and even our website displayed at the end of this program. Until I come your way next week, please continue to keep safe. Goodbye.